Edgar Cayce's hidden reading, What Happens When You Die in Sleep? What if the most peaceful way to leave this world holds the deepest spiritual secrets? Think about this for a moment. Tonight, millions of people will close their eyes and surrender to sleep without a second thought. Most will wake tomorrow morning, but some will slip quietly from one dream into another, from earthly sleep into eternal awakening. There's something profound about this gentle passage, something that speaks to the deepest part of our souls. No struggle, no pain, no dramatic farewell, just peace. The kind of peace that leaves families saying, "They looked so peaceful, like they were just sleeping." But what if this isn't coincidence? What if this gentle departure reveals something essential about the soul's journey home? In 1941, Edgar Cayce gave one of his most profound yet overlooked readings, a hidden teaching that few have studied, fewer still have understood. Reading number 5756-27 revealed why some souls are granted this tender passage, while others face more dramatic departures. Tonight, as you prepare for your own sleep, you're about to discover the sacred mechanics of the soul's nighttime graduation. You'll understand why this knowledge transforms not just how you face death, but how you embrace each night's surrender. Because here's what Cayce revealed. Every night, your soul practices dying. Every time you close your eyes and let go of the day, you're rehearsing for your ultimate letting go. And for some souls, those who have mastered the art of surrender, sleep becomes the doorway to graduation. This isn't about predicting when death will come. It's about understanding the profound spiritual preparation that makes the gentlest departure possible. It's about recognizing that the peace you seek in sleep is the same peace that awaits you in your final transition. The mystery we're about to explore will change everything: how you understand sleep, how you approach rest, how you release your need to control, and most importantly, how you prepare your soul for whatever transition awaits. Are you ready to discover why some souls are chosen for this sacred gift? Edgar Cayce lived in a unique state of consciousness that allowed him to bridge two worlds, the physical and the eternal. For over 40 years, the sleeping prophet would enter deep trance states, his conscious mind stepping aside to allow universal wisdom to flow through him. In these states, he could access what he called the cosmic records, the soul's own memory of truth. But Cayce's gift was especially profound when it came to understanding sleep and death, because he spent thousands of hours in the borderland between waking and sleeping. He could map the territories consciousness visits each night with extraordinary precision. He understood something most people never realize. Every night, your soul leaves your body, not completely, not permanently, but it travels beyond time and space, visiting realms of existence that the waking mind can barely comprehend. You return each morning with fragments of divine memory, usually forgotten by the time you brush your teeth. But sometimes, Cayce revealed, these nightly departures become permanent graduations. In his hidden reading number 5756-27, he detailed the precise spiritual mechanics that allows certain souls to slip peacefully from sleep into eternal awakening. This wasn't speculation or wishful thinking. This was direct observation from a consciousness that had learned to navigate the space between worlds. What made this reading so remarkable was its specificity. Cayce described not just what happens when someone dies in sleep, but why it happens. What spiritual preparation makes this gentle departure possible? What signs indicate a soul is ready for this form of graduation? Most importantly, he revealed that this peaceful transition isn't random or accidental. It's earned. Earned through lifetimes of spiritual development, through mastery of surrender, through perfect alignment with divine will. The souls who graduate in their sleep have learned something profound about trust. They've developed such complete faith in divine love that consciousness can release without struggle, knowing absolutely that what awaits is infinitely more beautiful than what's being left behind. Close your eyes for a moment and feel into what happens when you fall asleep. Notice how consciousness gradually releases its grip on the physical world, how thoughts become dreamlike, how the boundaries of ordinary reality begin to dissolve, how something within you naturally knows how to let go. This nightly transition is one of the most remarkable things you'll ever experience, yet most people take it completely for granted. But Cayce understood that sleep is actually your soul's training ground for the ultimate letting go. Every night you practice dying, not morbidly, not fearfully, but naturally, gracefully, as part of the rhythm of existence. You release from physical form. You travel beyond time and space. You commune with loved ones who have already graduated. You receive guidance from higher dimensions. You remember, if only briefly, who you really are beyond this temporary identity. And then you return, usually with only the faintest memory of where you've been. But here's the profound secret Cayce revealed. Some souls prepared through lifetimes of spiritual development eventually use sleep as their final earthly threshold. Their nightly practice becomes their permanent graduation. This isn't about being ready to die in any grim sense. It's about being so spiritually mature, so aligned with divine love, so trusting of the cosmic plan that consciousness can slip from one realm to another as naturally as moving between rooms in your own home. These souls have mastered what Cayce called the night threshold mystery, the understanding that sleep and death are part of the same continuum, that the peace you find in sleep is a preview of the peace that awaits in your final transition. The question becomes, what prepares a soul for this gentle graduation? What spiritual development allows consciousness to release so completely, so trustingly, that the transition feels more like falling asleep than facing death? And perhaps most importantly, how can understanding this mystery transform your relationship with both sleep and your eventual departure from this physical realm? The souls who transition peacefully during sleep don't just wake up one morning ready for graduation. Their preparation begins years, sometimes decades, before their gentle departure. Cayce observed that these souls begin experiencing what he called departure rehearsals long before their actual transition. Their dreams become increasingly vivid and spiritually focused. Night after night, they find themselves saying goodbye to loved ones in their sleep, visiting realms of incredible beauty and light, meeting deceased family members who serve as loving guides. These aren't random dreams. They're spiritual education, the soul's graduate school for conscious departure. You might have experienced something like this yourself, or witnessed it in someone close to you, a gradual shift in their dream life, stories of incredibly vivid visitations from departed loved ones, dreams that feel more real than waking life, a growing sense of homesickness for a place they can't quite name. This homesickness is particularly significant. Cayce noted that souls approaching gentle graduation often develop a natural detachment from material concerns, not depression or withdrawal from life, but a peaceful releasing of attachment to outcomes. They begin to hold earthly experiences lightly, like someone who knows they're visiting a beautiful place, but won't be staying forever. Their spiritual practices deepen naturally. They find themselves drawn to meditation, prayer, contemplation, not out of fear or desperate seeking, but out of recognition. They're remembering something important, preparing for something sacred. Most remarkably, these souls begin to relate to sleep differently. They fall asleep easily, rarely struggle with insomnia, and wake feeling refreshed regardless of life circumstances. Their relationship with nightly unconsciousness becomes a mirror reflecting their readiness for the ultimate surrender. The threshold is being crossed every night. Each dream becomes a gentle rehearsal. Each peaceful awakening becomes evidence of the soul's growing mastery of release and return. But this preparation isn't passive. It's not something that just happens to certain souls. It's cultivated through conscious choice, consistent spiritual practice, and above all, the development of complete trust in divine timing. Perhaps the most essential quality Cayce identified in souls destined for peaceful sleep transitions was their relationship with trust. Not ordinary trust, not trusting that things will work out the way we want them to, but something far deeper, cosmic trust. The soul's absolute faith that it is held, guided, and loved by an intelligence far greater than the small self's understanding. This trust shows up in the most mundane ways. How easily they fall asleep at night, how naturally they release the day's concerns, how gracefully they navigate uncertainty, how peacefully they respond to situations beyond their control. Cayce called this surrender evaluation, how completely the soul has learned to release its grip on control and align with divine guidance. And for souls preparing for gentle departure, this evaluation happens every single night. Watch someone who has developed this level of trust. They don't fight insomnia. They don't lie awake rehearsing tomorrow's challenges or replaying today's mistakes. When their head hits the pillow, they release into sleep with the faith of a child who knows they're completely safe. This isn't about having an easy life or avoiding difficulties. Many of these souls have faced significant challenges, losses, and hardships, but they've learned something profound through their experiences. Fighting against what is creates suffering. Aligning with divine will creates peace. Their sleep becomes a nightly demonstration of this trust. Each time they close their eyes, they're saying, "I trust you with my consciousness. I trust you to carry me through the night and bring me back tomorrow if that serves the highest good." This trust isn't passive resignation, it's active faith. The recognition that the same divine love that breathes them to sleep each night will guide them perfectly through their ultimate transition whenever and however it comes. But here's what's remarkable. This level of trust can be cultivated. It's not something you either have or don't have. It's something you can develop through conscious spiritual practice, through choosing faith over fear, through learning to see divine love operating even in challenging circumstances. Every night offers you an opportunity to practice this surrender, to release control, to trust that you're held by love beyond your comprehension. As souls approach their gentle graduation, something beautiful begins to happen. The veil between worlds becomes thinner. Communication between earthly consciousness and spiritual guides intensifies. Cayce observed specific guidance signals that appear in the months or weeks before a sleep transition, and these signals are profound in their loving support. First, deceased family members begin appearing more frequently and vividly in dreams, not frightening visitations but tender reunions. Grandparents who died years ago suddenly feel present and real. Departed spouses offering comfort and guidance. Children who graduated early returning as radiant beings of light. These aren't projections of wishful thinking. They're actual communications from souls who have already made the transition and are now serving as loving guides for the approaching departure. The dreams take on a different quality. They feel more real than regular dreams. The conversations are coherent, meaningful, filled with love and reassurance. The person often wakes with specific messages, with profound peace, with the unmistakable sense that something sacred has occurred. Along with these visitations come prophetic dreams about transitioning, not frightening nightmares about death, but beautiful visions of graduation. dreams of walking into incredible light, of being welcomed by countless loving beings, of experiencing indescribable peace and joy. Perhaps most significantly, these souls begin experiencing spontaneous out-of-body experiences during sleep. They find themselves conscious while their body sleeps, traveling to realms of extraordinary beauty, receiving teachings from what Cayce called transition guides, spiritual mentors whose specific purpose is to prepare souls for peaceful departure. These guides begin their work months or sometimes years before the actual transition. They teach navigation of after-death realms while the person sleeps. They provide comfort about the transition process. They help the soul understand that graduation is not loss, but homecoming. The living begin reporting unusually profound spiritual experiences during rest, meditations that feel touched by divine presence, moments of overwhelming love and peace, sudden insights about life's meaning and purpose, the sense of being held in invisible arms of infinite compassion. All of these signals point to the same beautiful truth. No soul transitions alone. Love surrounds the departure process. Guidance supports every step. The journey home is attended by more love than the human heart can imagine. In the final months before a peaceful sleep transition, something extraordinary begins to occur. Souls often start experiencing what Edgar Cayce called Akashic preview sessions, dreams where they review their life's spiritual progress in vast halls of cosmic records. Picture this. You find yourself in an impossibly beautiful library, not built of stone or wood, but of living light. The halls stretch beyond sight, filled with crystalline shelves that hold not books, but glowing records of every soul's journey across all time. But you're not here to see every soul's story. You're here to witness your own, to understand the profound spiritual development that has prepared you for this gentle graduation. Unlike the complete life review that occurs after death, these preview sessions focus specifically on lessons mastered and spiritual achievements earned. The soul sees evidence of its readiness for graduation, viewing its earthly journey with the compassion and understanding that comes from cosmic perspective. You see how your greatest challenges became your deepest sources of wisdom, how your most painful experiences opened your heart to greater compassion, how your struggles with doubt and fear gradually transformed into unshakable faith and trust. The records reveal the golden thread running through your entire life, every choice that brought you closer to love, every moment when you chose forgiveness over resentment, every time you trusted divine guidance over your own limited understanding. All of it woven into a tapestry of spiritual maturity that qualifies you for the gentlest possible departure. These preview sessions often bring profound peace and a sense of completion to waking consciousness. People report suddenly understanding their life's meaning with crystal clarity, feeling deep gratitude for experiences that once seemed random or painful, experiencing overwhelming love for everyone who played a role in their spiritual development. The fear that might naturally accompany awareness of approaching transition is replaced by anticipation, not eagerness to leave life, but peaceful readiness for graduation when the time is right. They often begin expressing this completion to loved ones, though not necessarily in terms of impending death. They might say things like, "I've lived a good life," or "I'm so grateful for everything we've shared," or "I feel so peaceful about everything." This isn't preparation for death in any morbid sense. It's recognition of spiritual readiness, the soul's acknowledgement that it has learned what it came to learn, given what it came to give, and loved as fully as this lifetime allowed. As the gentle transition draws near, something remarkable occurs in the consciousness of these prepared souls. They begin experiencing what Cayce called pattern memory activation. sudden access to memories of how they've transitioned in previous incarnations. This isn't about believing in reincarnation or accepting any particular doctrine. It's about direct experience, sudden, vivid recollections that feel more like memories than dreams or imagination. They might dream of dying peacefully as an elderly monk in a monastery, or releasing their last breath surrounded by loving family in another century, or transitioning naturally in sleep after a lifetime of spiritual service in cultures and times long forgotten. Each memory carries the same theme: surrender, trust, peaceful release. The soul recognizes that it has been preparing for gentle departure across multiple lifetimes, learning through various experiences how to let go with grace. But here's what's most beautiful about these pattern memories. They reveal that dying in sleep isn't just chance or good fortune. It's earned grace, a reward for lifetimes of spiritual development and service to others. The soul understands that in previous incarnations, it may have faced more difficult transitions, deaths in war, through illness, or sudden accident, not as punishment but as learning experiences. Each transition taught valuable lessons about release, about trust, about the eternal nature of consciousness. Now, having mastered these lessons across multiple lifetimes, the soul has earned the gift of the gentlest possible graduation. Sleep-death becomes recognition of spiritual achievement, not random luck. This understanding brings profound comfort. Instead of fearing death, they begin to see it as completion, as graduation day, as the natural conclusion of a course of study that has spanned lifetimes of learning to love. They often report feeling deep compassion for their past selves who faced more challenging transitions, and overwhelming gratitude for the opportunity to complete this lifetime so peacefully. The pattern memories also reveal something else: the souls who love them across lifetimes. Recognition that they've shared love with the same spiritual family in countless forms, countless relationships. Death becomes not goodbye, but see you soon in the continuing journey of consciousness. The final phase of preparation for sleep-death involves something that might surprise you. According to Cayce, it requires a conscious choice, not by the personality, the part of you that worries about tomorrow's meeting or whether you remembered to lock the door, but by the higher self in profound consultation with guides and divine wisdom. This is what Cayce termed conscious departure choice, the soul's deliberate decision to graduate during sleep rather than through illness, accident, or struggle. Think about this for a moment. Your soul, the eternal part of you that has lived across countless incarnations, carefully weighs several considerations. Are your remaining earthly purposes complete? Have you fulfilled the major spiritual contracts you came to honor? How will your departure affect the loved ones you're leaving behind? What serves the highest good for all involved? The choice isn't made lightly or quickly. It's made through deep communion with divine intelligence, with spirit guides, and with the souls of loved ones both living and departed. Sometimes the decision involves waiting. The soul may be ready for graduation, but a grandchild needs more time with grandparents' wisdom, or a spouse requires additional support through a challenging period. Or there's one more person the soul is meant to impact through its presence and love. Other times, the decision involves releasing. The soul recognizes that its continued earthly presence might actually hinder loved ones' spiritual growth. That sometimes the deepest gift of love is letting go, allowing others to develop their own strength and connection to divine guidance. When the choice for gentle departure is finally made, something remarkable occurs. The process begins automatically. The soul's energy naturally starts withdrawing from dense physical focus toward spiritual realms. The body may become more fragile, not from illness, but from the soul's gradual release of its grip on material form. This isn't about giving up on life or losing the will to live. It's about recognizing completion, about understanding that this particular classroom experience is finished and it's time to move on to the next phase of eternal education. The person often experiences profound peace during this time, a sense of being held in invisible arms of infinite love, the growing awareness that what lies ahead is not ending but beginning, not loss but reunion, not death but birth into greater aliveness. Understanding the spiritual mechanics of sleep-death offers profound guidance for anyone seeking to prepare their consciousness for the gentlest possible transition whenever it may come. Cayce recommended specific practices for souls sensing their readiness for this form of graduation. But even if you're nowhere near your own departure, these practices can transform your relationship with both sleep and death, bringing greater peace to every night's surrender. First, develop complete trust in divine timing. This means releasing the need to know when, how, or where your transition will occur. It means cultivating faith that the same divine intelligence that brought you into this life knows exactly how and when to call you home. Practice nightly surrender through meditation. Before sleep, spend time consciously releasing the day. Let go of unfinished business, unresolved conflicts, worry about tomorrow. Practice putting your entire life into divine hands, trusting that whatever needs your attention will still be there in the morning if you're meant to address it. Release attachment to material outcomes. This doesn't mean becoming passive or uncaring about your responsibilities. It means holding your earthly roles and possessions lightly, recognizing them as temporary assignments rather than permanent identity. Cultivate deep forgiveness for yourself and others. Cayce emphasized that souls preparing for peaceful departure must release all resentments, grudges, and self-condemnation. These heavy emotions create energetic hooks that make gentle transition difficult. Forgiveness lightens the soul for easier departure. Most importantly, view each sleep as practice for the ultimate letting go. Every night offers opportunity to surrender control, trust divine love, and experience the peace that comes from complete release. The more comfortable you become with this nightly death and rebirth, the more prepared your consciousness becomes for whatever transition awaits. These practices don't hasten death or make you less engaged with life. Instead, they bring such profound peace to your daily experience that life becomes more beautiful, not less. When you're no longer afraid of letting go, you can embrace more fully. When you trust divine timing completely, you can be present to whatever each moment offers. The goal isn't to achieve peaceful sleep-death specifically, but to develop the spiritual maturity that makes any form of transition as gentle as possible. When someone you love dies peacefully in their sleep, questions naturally arise. Did they suffer? Were they afraid? Did they know what was happening? Could you have done something to prevent their departure? Cayce's teachings offer profound comfort to grieving families, especially those who've lost someone through gentle sleep transition. According to his readings, souls who graduate during sleep experience no pain, no confusion, no struggle whatsoever. Their consciousness doesn't jolt awake as the body fails. Instead, they slip from physical dreams into spiritual awakening as naturally as moving from one room to another. The peaceful expression often visible on their faces isn't just muscular relaxation after death. It's the reflection of their actual experience, consciousness transitioning seamlessly from earthly sleep to eternal awakening, surrounded by more love than they'd ever experienced in physical form. They weren't alone in their final moments. Even if no family members were present, they were attended by spirit guides, by deceased loved ones who came to welcome them home, by angels whose specific purpose is to ease the transition from physical to spiritual existence. The timing of their departure wasn't random. Their soul chose this gentle graduation in consultation with divine wisdom and with consideration for all involved. Their peaceful death was gift not just to them, but to everyone who loved them, demonstration that consciousness can release with grace, without struggle, surrounded by infinite love. If you feel guilt about not being present for their final moments, release this burden. They didn't need you there for comfort or reassurance. They were receiving comfort and guidance from realms of such beauty and love that your physical presence, while precious to you, wasn't necessary for their peace. Your loved one's gentle departure is actually a blessing to your own spiritual development. They've shown you that death doesn't have to be frightening or traumatic. They've demonstrated that consciousness can transition with such grace that the experience resembles falling asleep more than any dramatic ending. Let their peaceful departure teach you about your own eventual transition. Let it dissolve some of your fear about death. Let it remind you that the same divine love that carried them home so gently will guide your own journey when the time comes. Whether your soul will graduate through sleep or through some other pathway, understanding the mechanics of gentle departure offers profound comfort about your eventual transition. Consider this. Every practice that prepares consciousness for peaceful sleep-death also enriches your current life experience. Developing trust in divine timing reduces daily anxiety. Learning to surrender control brings greater peace to challenging circumstances. Cultivating forgiveness lightens your emotional burden. Releasing attachment to outcomes creates space for unexpected joy. The spiritual development that prepares souls for gentle graduation makes life more beautiful while you're living it. But beyond that, understanding Cayce's teachings about sleep-death reveals something essential about consciousness itself. You are far more than your physical body. The part of you that travels during sleep, that communes with loved ones in dreams, that receives guidance from higher dimensions. This is your true self. This is who you really are beyond temporary form. Your current spiritual development, every moment of meditation, every act of service, every choice of forgiveness over resentment, every experience of love, all contribute to your soul's preparation for whatever transition awaits. You don't need to achieve some impossible level of perfection. The souls who graduate peacefully in sleep aren't necessarily the most conventionally religious or outwardly spiritual. They're souls who have learned to trust, who have developed compassion, who have chosen love over fear consistently enough that their consciousness is aligned with divine will. The peace available in sleep offers a preview of the peace available in death's transition. Every night that you fall asleep easily, every morning you wake refreshed, every dream that brings comfort or guidance, all of these experiences are your soul's way of showing you that letting go can be gentle, that surrender can be peaceful, that what lies beyond conscious control is love, not fear. Your eventual departure, whenever and however it comes, will be attended by more love than you can currently imagine. The same divine intelligence that guides you through each night's journey will guide you perfectly through your ultimate transition. Trust in this. Let it bring you peace. Let it transform not just how you think about death, but how you embrace each day's living. As we approach the heart of Cayce's deepest teaching about sleep-death, we discover something profound. Souls granted this gentle passage have mastered love's ultimate lesson. They have developed what Cayce called complete attunement to divine love's guidance. This isn't romantic love or even family love, though it encompasses both. This is cosmic love, the recognition that the entire universe is held together by an intelligent force that is pure, unconditional love. Their departure during sleep demonstrates faith so complete that consciousness can release without struggle, knowing absolutely that what lies beyond physical form is infinite love. They've learned to trust this love so completely that letting go feels like coming home rather than leaving home. This attunement begins developing long before their final transition. It shows up in how they treat difficult people, with patience rather than judgment, how they respond to disappointments, with acceptance rather than bitterness, how they face uncertainty with faith rather than fear. They've learned that love is not just an emotion, but the fundamental force of existence, the energy that breathes stars into being and guides souls through countless incarnations of learning, the intelligence that knows exactly what each consciousness needs for its highest development. In their final sleep, they surrender not just to unconsciousness, but to this cosmic love. They release not just physical control, but any remaining illusion of separation from divine love. Their peaceful transition becomes their final gift to everyone who witnesses it. Proof that consciousness merged with love can release from any form with perfect grace. This understanding transforms not just death, but every moment of living. When you recognize that you're held by infinite love, that this love is guiding your journey through every experience, that nothing can separate you from this love, everything changes. Challenges become opportunities to trust love more deeply. Relationships become mirrors reflecting love's presence in countless forms. Each night's sleep becomes communion with the divine love that never sleeps, never leaves you, never stops guiding you toward your highest good. The souls who graduate gently in their sleep have simply remembered what we all knew before taking physical form. We are love itself, temporarily forgetting our nature, gradually awakening to the truth of what we've always been. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, you carry new understanding with you. You know now that closing your eyes and surrendering to unconsciousness is one of the most profound spiritual practices available to human consciousness. Every night you practice the ultimate letting go. Every morning you experience the miracle of return. Whether your soul will eventually graduate through sleep in this lifetime or transition through some other pathway, each night offers opportunity to cultivate the trust, love, and divine alignment that prepare consciousness for the most peaceful possible passage. Your relationship with sleep becomes spiritual practice. Your willingness to release control each evening becomes rehearsal for releasing control completely when the time comes for your final graduation. As you lie in bed tonight, remember that you're held by the same infinite love that holds the stars in their courses. The same divine intelligence that guides your breath, guides your journey through sleep's mysterious territories. The same cosmic compassion that attends every soul's transition surrounds you in every moment of darkness and light. Let go of the day's concerns with trust rather than worry. Release tomorrow's uncertainties with faith rather than fear. Surrender to sleep's embrace, knowing that you're held by love beyond your comprehension. Each peaceful night's sleep is gift. Each gentle awakening is miracle. Each dream that brings comfort or guidance is reminder that consciousness is far more vast and supported than waking awareness usually recognizes. The souls who graduate peacefully in their sleep have simply mastered what every soul is learning: how to trust divine love completely, how to release attachment while embracing responsibility, how to surrender control while remaining fully engaged with life's beauty. This mastery is available to you too, not as distant goal requiring lifetimes of achievement, but as present possibility requiring only willingness to trust, willingness to love, willingness to see divine intelligence operating in every circumstance. Your soul's preparation for whatever transition awaits begins now, begins with this breath, begins with this moment's choice to trust rather than fear, begins with tonight's surrender to sleep's sacred embrace. Close your eyes when you're ready. Release the day with gratitude. Trust the night with your whole heart, and let divine love carry you safely through whatever journeys await in dreams. You are held. You are guided. You are eternally, infinitely loved. Sweet dreams.